Genesis 42. When Jacob heard there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why are you looking at each other?" Then he said, "Look, I hear there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy grain for us so that we may live and not die." So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt, but Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brothers, for he said, what if some accident happens to him? So Israel's sons came to buy grain among the other travelers, for the famine was severe in the land of Canaan. Now Joseph was the ruler of the country, the one who sold grain to all people of the country. Joseph's brothers came and bowed down before him, their faces to the ground. When Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he pretended to be a stranger to them and spoke to them harshly. He asked, "Where did you come from?" They answered, "From the land of Canaan to buy grain for food." Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. Then Joseph remembered the dreams he had had about them, and he said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see if our land is vulnerable." But they exclaimed, "My lord, your servant has come to buy grain for food. We are all the sons of one man. We are honest men. Your servants are not spies." "No," he insisted. "You have come to see if our land is vulnerable." They replied, "Your servants are from a family of 12 brothers. We are the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. Youngest is with our father at this time, and one is no longer alive." But Joseph told them, "It is just as I said to you. You are spies. You will be tested in this way. As surely as Pharaoh lives, you will not depart from the place unless your youngest brother comes here. One of you must go and get your brother, while the rest of you remain in prison. In this way, your words will be tested to see if you are telling truth. If If not, then as surely as Pharaoh lives, you are spies." He imprisoned them all for 3 days. On the 3rd day, Joseph said to them, "Do as I say, and you will live, for I fear God." If Then they did as he said. They said to one another, "Surely we're being punished because of our brother, because we saw how distressed he was when he cried to us for mercy, but we refused to listen. That is why this distress has come on us." Reuben said to them, "Didn't I say to you, don't sin against your brother? But you wouldn't listen. So now we must pay for shedding his blood." Now they did not know that Joseph could understand them, for he was speaking through an interpreter. He turned away from them and wept. When he turned away and spoke to them again, he had Simeon taken from them and tied up before their eyes. Then Joseph gave orders to fill their bags with grain, to return each man's money in his sack, and to give them provisions for the journey. His orders were carried out, so they loaded the grain on their donkeys and left. When one of them opened his grain sack to get feed for his donkey at their resting place, he saw the money in the bag, in the mouth of his sack. He said to his brothers, "My money has returned. Here it is in my sack." They were dismayed. They turned trembling to one another and said, "What in the world has God done to us?" They returned to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan and told him all the things that had happened to them, saying, The Lord of the land spoke harshly to us and treated us as if as if we were spying on the land. But we said to him, we are honest men. We are not spies. We are from a family of 12 brothers. We are the sons of one man. One is no longer alive, and the youngest was with our father at this time in the land of Canaan. Then the man, the Lord of the land, said to us, this is how I will find out if if you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers with me and take grain for your hungry household and go. But bring your youngest brother back to me so I will know that you are honest men and not spies. Then I will give your brothers back to you, and you may move about freely in the land. When they were emptying their sacks, there was each man's bag of money in his sack. When they came and their father saw the bags of money, they were afraid. Their father Jacob said to them, you are making me childless. Joseph is gone. Simeon is gone. And now you want to take Benjamin. Everything is against me. Then Reuben said to his father, you may put my 2 sons to death if I don't bring him back to you. Put him in my care, and I will bring him back to you. But Jacob replied, my son will not go down there with you, for his brother is dead, and he alone is left. If if an accident happens to him on the journey, then you will bring down my gray hair in sorrow to the grave. So Jacob hears about there being grain in Egypt, which is going to happen because people are going to go back and forth, and you're going to hear the news that, hey, we're in the middle of a famine, but there's grain in Egypt. So he gets the brothers together. Why does he send 10 brothers down there? Because the more of them that go with their donkeys, the more they can bring back. And also, if you are transporting grain, and you're going to be highly likely to be subject to robbers because you got grain and people are hungry. So the more you send on the journey, the safer they're going to be. So, but he keeps Joseph. He keeps Benjamin. He does not send him along. So they go down, they get there, and they have to appear before Joseph because Joseph is the one who is dealing with all the foreigners, it appears. So while it did say he had set up places throughout the land in all kinds of cities, I'm guessing that for the most part, you got to go to where Joseph is if you're going to get grain as a foreigner, where the locals might be able to get it in their local city. So they end up appearing before him. They don't recognize him. Well, this is not surprising. They're also not looking for him. He was 17 when he left. It's 13 years later, it's 13 years when he came out of prison. So this is like 20 years later because we're into the famine. So it's at least 20 years later, if I remember right. 20 years later. So what does he look like? And he also has a shaved beard and shaved head because he is dressed like an Egyptian. They're not going to recognize him. He is going to look like he's an Egyptian. So he recognizes them and he speaks to them harshly. What we do not know yet, what is Joseph's motivation for speaking to them harshly? What is his motivation for speaking to them harshly? Yes, and Papsio, right. He is using a translator. So he's not tipping his hand that he is able to understand them or that there's a possibility he could be their brother. So yeah, he's talking through a translator, which he would normally do if you are, so he's speaking fluent Egyptian. And immediately he asks, where do you come from? And he recognizes his brothers, and he goes to your spies. We don't have any motivation here for Joseph. Why is he doing this? I know I have continued to say I see that Joseph has been arrogant, and then I see him being humbled and finally humbling himself before Pharaoh lifts him up and elevates him. But now we will be testing not whether he's humble or not, but whether he is going to forgive his brothers. And how is he going to find out? He wants to find out where they are at. how they are. So he is going to put pressure on them with the threat that he had. Okay, with the threat that he had. He argues with them that they are indeed spies. They are arguing they're honest men. Now, I don't understand their logic here. Okay, maybe someone can help me understand. If I'm trying to explain, no, I'm not spies, I'm going to say, yeah, we're all brothers. Yeah, and we have 12 brothers. Yeah, and the youngest one's at home with dad. Yeah, and one of them is dead. Like, why would this information verify you're not a spy? Like, couldn't you still be a spy even if you're brothers? I mean, what difference does it make if you're brothers or not? How does that mean you're not spies? I mean, you know, I'd make an argument like, if we were down here to spy, we wouldn't have brought so many people. Like, we're all one family, and we're trying to bring food back for the 70 of us in the household, you know? So, you know, there's that. There's that. I'm just thinking, like, sometimes, like, what people do, I just puzzle over. Why are you talking about the fact you're all the descendants of one man? How does this make a convincing argument? I know that's my logic, not theirs. They thought it would make a convincing argument. Maybe it would have. Maybe it would have. But it doesn't convince Joseph, because Joseph is testing them. He is testing to see their character. Are they going to turn on one another? What are they going to do? So he throws them into prison for 3 days. Isn't that an interesting take there? They are in prison for 3 days. 3 days is an interesting time. So they are Jonah in the belly of the whale, 3 days. His brothers are in prison for 3 days. And now he is going to bring them out. He is going to send them home, but one of them must remain. One of them must remain. What is Simeon thinking here, and why is Simeon picked? Okay, I don't know why Reuben or why Simeon is picked. It does not really tip the hand of why Simeon, but Reuben is the oldest, so he doesn't take Reuben. But remember, Simeon and Levite. Simeon and Levite are the two that act when their sister is violated, and they go slaughter. So here's a man of action. So let me take one of the two of the ones who take action and put them in prison. He doesn't take Judah. Judah was prominent in suggesting the selling into slavery. So maybe he's waiting to see something more. I don't know why he picks Simeon. He takes Simeon. Simeon is the one that gets thrown into prison. And he says, you've got to bring back your brother. And now Joseph is going to see, one, the honesty of his brothers, and two, like, God is gonna use these to play on the guilty conscience of his brothers. I love this part. So I don't know if Joseph is intending this, if this just happens to turn out this way. Christopher, welcome in, or how it happens. So he takes the money and he puts it in their bags and sends them on their way. So the bags are all loaded up. Their money is in their bags. They stop to feed the donkeys, and one of the brothers notices there's money in his sack. Now, what's interesting is they don't make the assumption of, oh, let's all check our bags. Like, they don't make the assumption, let's all check our bags now. So they get all the way home before they realize all the money was in all the bags. Like, my goodness, but the one bag alone was enough for them to feel like that God is judging them. God has seen and knows. God has found them out. They've gone down to Egypt where they've sold their brother, and now their guilty conscience is resting upon them. So they get back. They tell their dad everything. Although notice they don't tell their dad they were in prison for 3 days. They don't tell that part. They just say that Simeon is left behind, and we can't return unless we bring our younger brother. And he's like, why would you tell them this? This is exactly what I would think. Why would you tell them this? Like, why are you giving away free information? He said, how do we know if you're honest men? The only way we'll know you're honest men is if you return with your brother. Now, this really only works with Joseph, because Joseph will know who the younger brother is. But this guy from Egypt isn't going to know who the younger brother is. They can return with anybody and claim he's the brother. Like, how would they know? Like, you're 10 guys claiming to be brothers. How would I know they're brothers? Like, I can't tell. You all look the same. You all have beards and you're scraggly. Like, I don't know if you're brothers, cousins. I mean, you're just those people. So, anyway, here's how it plays out. When they're emptying, they find everybody has it, and they are all filled with fear about this, but there is we can't go back and we have to get Simeon. And he's like, no, you can't go back and get Simeon, and you can't take your brother Benjamin. I already lost Joseph. I've already lost Simeon. I'm not losing Benjamin. An accident could happen. An accident could happen. Why does he keep thinking an accident could happen? Because that's what he believes happened to Joseph. An accident happened. A wild beast attacked him. An accident happened. So even with the 9 of you now protecting him, an accident could still happen, and I could lose Benjamin. He's thinking an accident could happen. Reuben, however, steps up. And notice how Reuben was trying to be the deliverer of Joseph and get back in the good graces of Dad. I think Reuben, again, is trying to do this. He's trying to step in and say, well, you could put my 2 sons to death if I don't bring him back. What good does that do, Reuben? What good does that do? Put your sons to death because another son of mine, like, why would I want more death, dude? Seriously, this is not a solution. This is not a solution, Reuben. Yeah, I think that's why he didn't take Reuben and chose Simeon instead. I know, like, Reuben, come on, man. Well, and I think, yeah, if you want to say, Dad might have just said, nah, we don't need to save Reuben. We might not need to save Reuben because he's already in the outs with Dad after he tried to usurp Dad's authority. So, anyway, we leave it with, if anything happens to Benjamin, I'm going to die. I'm going to die.